Guys, this is me again. It is October the 8th, and well, as we see, Brett Kavanaugh is finally being confirmed to the SCOTUS nominee. He's been confirmed, even though it seems like a large amount of protesters want to actually speak their voices. And I had to say, this makes little to no sense when it came to this one, because on the wake of this, Bill Cosby actually mainly got put in jail, but his evidence was actually proven. That woman's evidence was actually proven. But when it comes to Brett Kavanaugh's case, it wasn't proven at all. I mean, when it comes to some of their testimonies, I mean, the first and second witnesses kind of screwed themselves over. The third one, I'm like, okay, this. I mean, the lawyer Abinati, I don't know, I can't remember his first name whatsoever, but when it came to his witness, I'm wondering, is she kind of dumb? Because I know people are gonna say, well, you shouldn't call victims dumb, but let's see here. You're a teen or something, going to a college party, and you witness gang rape, and you continuously go there 10 other times. Now, when it comes to me, if I was giving a test, if I was actually the one doing the questioning, I would ask her, why did you go 10 times? Because most people wouldn't even go there twice when they figure out that there's gang rape going on in this party. Because the first time, okay, you may think you're dreaming or thinking it didn't happen, it wasn't real. But the second time should have already gave you a possible of what's going on, and you would have called the police, or you just wouldn't go back there. You would say, "I've been to two gang rape parties where he was actually included." Then she changed her testimony, saying that, well, he was just near the punch bowl, thinking that he spiked it or something. So yeah, pretty much most Republicans actually voted him in, except for like one Republican. Surprisingly, one Democrat actually voted him in too. I'm surprised by that one. I'm like, wow, that means that, well, he did agree to a week of FBI actually doing their research and actually doing investigations on this. Even though they were finished before a week was over with, that was the one thing that nobody was suspecting. But I'm like, well, technically speaking, it was a week. There was no evidence found. All the witnesses said they either didn't know or it didn't happen. And you're trying to tell me that, well, it happened because we have to believe the victim, even though we have no actual evidence of this. See, this is why the Republicans of the party, like the supporters of the Republican Party, have to stand up now. Now, I'm not a Republican. I'm a libertarian, but considering how Democrats are acting now, it seems like they don't know what the fuck they're doing. This guy had no credible evidence against him. He couldn't prove a negative. She didn't base her stuff on any evidence. Ford did not prove her. Dr. Ford didn't prove any of her actual testimony. Everybody who she named didn't even say that she was right. Now, if they would have said that she was right, then maybe the testimony, maybe he wouldn't have been a SCOTUS nominee. Maybe they would say, no, we're not going to actually support this. But the thing is, she didn't have anybody who supported her claim. And that was the one thing that kind of screwed her over when it came to the long run. But when it comes down to, well, everything else, well, it just wasn't proven. Nothing was proven when it came to this case because Brett Kavanaugh had no one to actually step forward to say that he did this with a clear face to actually prove these women actually was credible. And the actual Me Too movement said, oh, we believe all survivors, we believe women. But the thing is, we don't even know that this has actually happened. The Democrats put Dr. Ford in a position that was a lose-lose situation. She didn't want this to go public. She didn't want her name to come out. But the Democrats made it come out like leaks. Feinstein kind of screwed the pooch on this one. She wanted to say, well, we have some kind of person saying that he raped someone when if she would have just put this out around the time that Trump actually put out the SCOTUS nominee, it would have been more believable. And this way her name wouldn't have been dragged through the mud, but she's no longer trying to actually, pursue any kind of legal case anymore, which actually kind of makes sense because it happens every single time when it comes to a Republican nominee. I mean, think about it. You look at most Republican nominees, when it comes to one race, what do Democrats do to actually try to screw that person over? Rape allegations. They know that when they do rape allegations, that's a bipartisan issue. Democrats and Republicans can see something like that. But the Democrats, I believe, kind of, well, went too far with this one. They want to put these protesters on trial. They want to put all these other things. And I'm wondering, how secure is Congress? I mean, all these people coming there and actually getting into the building. That security must suck. You would think that the security would be top notch, protecting some of the people who make the laws, and yet here they are having protesters yelling, screaming, committing tantrums about a a person who they have no evidence that this occurred to, and yet they want to believe the victim. Look, I will believe the victim when she has evidence. I tell people this all the time. I'm not gonna troll you for her because guess what? Something may have did happen to her, but the thing is, it may not have been. It most likely wasn't Brett Kavanaugh, seeing that she had no real evidence that it was him. All she said is that she was pretty much 100% sure that it was when she had no actually evidence that it was him. She has no kind of evidence or anything, and yet people want to believe her. And then the Democrats got what they wanted, another week of investigation by the FBI, which the FBI didn't want to do it because they saw that it wasn't going to lead to anything. And when it did lead to nothing, Democrats got even more upset because their theories kind of fell apart because guess what? They was hoping to get this past the midterms, but it didn't work out in that favor. They was hoping to actually solve this during the midterms, but the Republicans said, no, we're not going to do this because you have had ample enough time to do this before this all occurred. But you guys want to spring this on us now, want to throw a Hail Mary, and now that it's screwed up, now you want to blame everything else. And I guarantee you this, a lot of news coverage is going to do a lot of things. I mean, have you even heard that Trump actually renegotiated NAFTA? Not many newscasters actually reported on that, even though that was around the time that Brett Kavanaugh was accused of these things. But yet you don't hear about it because the Brett Kavanaugh is the one thing that they would focus on, because if they would have actually focused on the NAFTA deal being renegotiated, that would have been a win for Trump, and they couldn't really deal with it. They want to hide the things that Trump does. So they want to pretty much put Brett Kavanaugh on the front line, and seeing that there was no evidence, pretty much the liberal media, they want to actually put this out on there. It just didn't work out in their favor. That's all I got to say about this, though.